What is up?
The sky and the ceiling.
It's about right, man. I tell you what. It's raining. The minute I walked out the door today, the minute I walked out the door, it started raining on me.
That's how it goes, buddy.
And I thought to myself, Self, I can't believe this is happening to you. And you know what myself said?
What?
Chad, you've got
big balls.
I said so. Yes, I did. I did. I said it right to me.
Oh, no.
I can't believe you did that, Chad. I know. Well, I must have.
Big balls.
I know. I absolutely. 100%. That's what people say. This whole thing is crazy, right? Like it's the focus because it shows you where our minds are apparently.
Yes.
And to even talk about this means
big balls.
I know. And the reality of thank you very much, Quackmire. The reality of where the focus should have been. I sit there and I think to myself, if you're nearing Social Security, if you're nearing some of these things and you're looking around and you see a 19-year-old running around and his nickname is
big balls,
and you think to yourself, that makes me feel a little nervous, okay? That does. And I said this day on my show, if you're old enough to die for your country, you're old enough to serve in other ways. And what they're looking to do is different. But do I understand people's hesitancy? And instead of focusing on that, it was all, oh, it's the worst because of this, and he did that, and did it. First of all, what they're doing, you have no idea. He's not talking geopolitics. He's not trying to fix a situation between Israel and Palestine. He's not doing anything other than looking at code. Elon didn't hire an idiot. But the H thing, and let me tell you something about optics and why it matters. Because whether people want to believe it or not, they'll say, oh, I'm not that way. Most people will allow their emotions to guide them. Data and facts do not matter in many cases. And you know, we'd all like to think we're just like Spot and everything is analytical. It's not. It's emotions. Looks are a part of that. What's this look like? Looks like there's a 19-year-old. Well, who's this 19-year-old? It's not Doogie Howser. Who is it?
Big balls.
See? And so that's a situation. You laughing in there, Ken? It's hard not to. But that's a situation where even like last night I was talking to my uncle about this, who's a big MAGA guy. And he said, look, I'm with you on this one, Chad. The optics of it all, even though I know what they're trying to do because he's a computer nerd and I understand what they're trying to do, there is a certain sense of grandma and grandpa, Social Security, Medicare. Ooh, I'm not quite sure I'm comfortable with somebody like this. But they didn't focus on the age. Outside of just a smidge. The rest of it was all about his nickname and he did this and he did that. And the way they talk about it is hilarious. So you've heard, obviously, Erin Burnett, and I didn't want to play that, but she's like, Chad, when you go in there, I want you to talk about it. But even Joy Reid, who's, she's too demure to say anything like this.
He's 19 years old. He's a high school graduate. It's a guy named Evan Korstein. He works at Doge. He has access to U.S. government systems. His professional and online history call into question whether he would even pass a background check, typically required to obtain security clearances. Security experts tell Wired he runs something called Tesla.sexy, which operates a Russian website. He worked at a startup that hired convicted hackers. Someone using his Telegram handle solicited a cyber attack. And on his LinkedIn, he called himself Big B-A-L-L-S. I won't say the whole word, so I won't be vulgar. That's what he calls himself. So Big B-A-L-L-S has all of our Social Security data.
I can't believe she wouldn't say it. Aaron, tell her what it is.
Big balls.
I know. So, but the 19, that bothers people. And I totally get that. I do. I mean, you don't know what's going on. 19 years old, you think back to when you were 19, did you have the best awareness in life? Did you make the best choices? Probably not. So you missed the opportunity to talk about optics of 19. You missed the opportunity to talk about why this is an issue that some people have because you were so focused on talking about how evil his name was and again, how everything is going to hell in a handbasket and they're stealing everybody's information. I have news for you. If they really wanted to steal everybody's information, I'm sure they've got people that can do that, and they don't need to be a part of any of this. because just about anything in the world is absolutely hackable. But that was the frustration. And for Trump on the other side is, dude, he's already tried to reel him in a little bit because he doesn't want this to be a circus. He's okay with taking the slings and arrows. He's okay of being bold and stuff, but he also doesn't want to have it a circus because nobody wants that. You want to show that you can do stuff. And yeah, the slings and arrows that we talked about yesterday is a wonderful thing for Trump. A lot of this stuff that would be directed at Trump right now is on Elon. But you've got to handle your business and the lies and the wackiness that goes on out there. And for those of you guys, here's the other thing. Like trying to find, and Ken, you and I have talked about this, trying to get the truth anymore about stuff is so hard. And you have to dig in so many places. And it's frustrating because it shouldn't be that hard. We should be able to get it rather easy. And if you want to spend time searching for stuff, it's there. But man, it takes time. And then once it's in the ether, for whatever reasons, and psychologists have been studying this for years, usually the first thing we hear, we tend to believe. And even when it's proven that is not true, we still tend to believe it. How many people out there tell you or say something when they're talking about how bad Trump is, how evil Trump is, blah, 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 blah. Oh, there are nice people on both sides. That thing's been disproven a gazillion times. But in their mind, they know it's true, but they can't believe it. They can't. And so you've got Bassett coming out yesterday. He's the guy that runs Treasury. He comes out and he says, look, none of this is true. A couple of these people work for the under the Department of the Treasury. They have look, don't touch access. Their whole thing is do some stuff, take a look at some stuff, see what's out there that can be improved. And then after IRS and all of this other stuff's handled, we can address it at that point. But nobody will ever hear that. And it takes a strong person in today's world to actually go, okay, hold on, I want to hear all sides. I want to hear everything. I want to hear what the actual truth is, not what you're telling me it is. Because that's been the big issue. We, in this world now, only care about our side. We go to our side. We do not care about what the other side has to say, or if there isn't a differing opinion, or if we're even getting all of the answers to the questions. We don't care. We don't. We just care about our side winning, and that's all that matters. So it's the frustrating side of stuff because what's being told isn't true or is half true. And what's being presented is this is all evil and bad. Republicans are evil and bad. We're going to lose all democracy, which is my favorite thing in the world. It's already gone. Can't get it back. We sold it to Elon Musk. I mean, what did he pay for it? Did you get anything? Did you get anything? Anything, Bill? Did you get any money for the democracy being sold?
Yeah, I got $750,000 cash in a briefcase.
Oh, that's nice.
That was a little underpaid, but what are you going to do?
A little underpaid. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a little underpaid for his democracy. What's your democracy worth? I don't need democracy, not when I have.
Big balls.
I know what people are going to say. I haven't even looked at the text. And you guys are doing that. You're making fun of that. Yeah, it is. It is because it's hilarious. It's the way that they handled it. You get made fun of for the way that you handled that. Am I right?
Yes.
And it's funny, they got Erin Burnett. She's like blushing as she says, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying these words on the television. Still have no idea what this guy did. Like, what is he? Is he a great programmer? Is he... No idea outside of he had an LLC and a few other things, and he's got this moniker. There's another guy, too, that's going around there. His name is, I think, Cosmo of the Gods or something. Like, they're all racehorses.
Cosmo Kramer of the Gods?
Yeah, like one of those things. And that's the focus is there because we like sensationalism. We do. Man, if I was Elon, I would send that kid out there. I'd like, go out there, wear shorts and a dress shirt. Did you see him in shorts? A dress shirt and like a suit and tie top?
Oh, that would... He did that?
Yeah, well, that was one of his pictures. Go out there.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and just go out there and talk to people. Just go out there and just, what's going on? Are you guys worried about this? Yeah, you guys should be. I'm selling it to the highest bidder. No, you idiots. Just the fear.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Oh, and then I'm just going to spell it. Like, that's the dumbest thing, too. First of all, you're on cable television, so you can say whatever you want.
Right.
So you're not even bound by anything like the FCC would come after you for. And all the stuff you say, and you are now acting like, oh, my God, I've never heard those words. You know, people know how to spell. That doesn't, it's sensationalism. It's what we love. We have turned modern politics into the greatest reality television show that at times is also the saddest reality television show. Yeah, I mean, it is true. Sad. A lot of stuff to come up today. We're going to talk about the girl with Tourette's because I find it interesting, and Chris and I were talking about it. The show is very interesting.
Yep.
It is as much about her family. Mm-hmm. Because dealing with the issues that she has is so tough. Everybody looks at her and, but while she's going through it all, the family is going through it as well. And how tough it is because she's got little brothers and sister and older sister, younger sister as well that just moved out. She's got a, older brother and they, the mom and dad having to deal with that it's got to be just exhausting. Even my mother, my little brother, for those of you guys know, he's 21. He's in a wheelchair. He's got a trach. He's got a G-tube. That's how he eats and breathes. He's never talked. He is, and he's stiff as a board. So when we go out and do things, people kind of look at him because my mom has to feed him through a tube. And, we have to, everywhere we go, to get him around, to move him around is exhausting. Well, people look at him. It's different. Where some people, especially kids, are curious. Like, what's wrong with him? Like, oh, he didn't eat his vegetables. Something like that scares little kids. But the thought of something like this, where she grasps all the things that are going on, is exhausting. It is. And the OCD, if you watch the show, the OCD she has is so horrible for her. She said that's so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, she's not just speaking out. She has to do it 3 times.
Yes. Like, did you see her when she slapped her sister's toast?
Yes.
And her sister's like, get away from me. She goes, I have to do it 2 more times.
Yes.
And she puts the toast there so she could slap it twice in the air.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, she goes, I have to do everything in 3s. And I'm like, oh, man, that's got to. And she talks about how exhausting it is.
Yep.
So we got so many things to talk about. And is Scotland going to get rid of cats? Wait till you hear this story, and I find it unbelievable. But you know what? The Brits are out of their mind. So many things on this Friday. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. I want you to talk to my buddies over there. Going to help you out with your retirement. They've got so many amazing opportunities, and the most important part is sitting down and chatting with them and getting a risk review, right? And what they do is they go over your retirement. They get a detailed plan of where you want to be with your retirement, and they're not cookie cutter. So you're going to get really this boutique, almost amazing kind of like you have your own private person who's helping with your investments, who's building something for you, specifically for you, not for the person next to you or the other person. It is not cookie cutter. So they're going to go over all of the stuff that they do, risk management, lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, how being with an active manager, the advantages you have there. It is a partnership indeed. All they want you to do is call them and sign up for a free risk review. Call 866-779-RISK today, 866-779-RISK, or check out everything they do at knowyourriskradio.com, K-N-O-W, yourriskradio.com. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments have risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not a guarantee. Future results. Track 25103.
The National Weather Service confirms 2 tornadoes touched down in Tennessee last night, one of them deadly. We'll tell you about it at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What they did was try to get in and have a meeting with senior leaders at the department. Obviously, that was not going to happen. All of this is an effort to try to protest what we know, according to sources, is happening behind these closed doors, which is staffers with Elon Musk's effort, Doge, sitting on one of the top floors of this building, we're told, going through personnel records of the department, putting some staff of this department, including senior members of this department, on paid leave.
Paid leave.
Oh, my God. It's awfully nice of them, right?
It
So you mean I don't have
is.
to be here and you're still going to pay me? That is what I mean.
I'm telling you, I said, sign me up.
So I'm glad you did it on a Friday. Are we doing this on Monday, too? I just want to know because it's a big weekend ahead. I mean, Super Bowl, I could really tie one on. It's the overreaction is hilarious. Like they all show up knowing something's going to happen,
Yeah.
knowing they can't get in there, knowing they, why are you even here? None of you cared about this 3 weeks ago. Well, because now we do, because Trump's trying to get rid of the Department of Education. And I have people tell me he's going to get rid of it. Then what? Like everybody, 90% of the funding comes from the states. About 10% comes from the feds. They set this weird agenda at times, and they have way more power. They punch above their weight class. But come on. Really? What do you think? Kids aren't going to be educated now? Well, what happened was they got rid of the Department of Education, so now I just work breaking chickens' necks. You can't do nothing. They didn't teach us to read or nothing. So, and it's so theatrical, too. They're out there, like, throwing themselves. Oh, God, we can't get in.
Sean Spicoli would love it.
Oh, he would. No way. Dude, you have it? No way. My brother's got ultimate set of tools. It is so awesome. And you know what I love, too? Linda McMahon is the head of the Department of Education. Did she body slam anybody? You better get out of here. The Hulk standing in front. You guys better get away from my education.
I didn't even think of that. Oh,
How
man.
awesome would that be? I had to do Macho Man Savage for a commercial in Canada.
Oh, yeah?
For a beef jerky, like a Slim Jim.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes. So I don't know what happened, but he couldn't do it. So they said, hey, you can do this. I said, yeah. So I had to do this Slim Jim NBA thing. It was so bizarre. Where I had to talk like that, just scream and do it. I was just so, and like my throat hurt for days.
How many takes, man?
Oh, you know what's funny? I thought, okay, because each commercial was only like 15 seconds,
right.
And they were going to run throughout the NBA games up in Canada for Toronto. So I said, there's going to be 10 of them. I said, okay, cool, maybe 15 minutes. Like 3 hours later, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try one more.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's what happens. You let some of these people do this. But how great would it have been if Hulk was just standing out there today? Brother, you're not going to get in here. Just tear his shirt off. And we're like, we have reached full idiocracy.
Oh, my gosh.
You guys can't come in here and try to get education. I don't know who you think you are. Oh, my goodness me. We are living in a surreal time, people, a surreal time.
It is entertaining.
Somebody just said, you suck so bad at doing your job, we're going to pay you not even to do your job. That is exactly what it is. That's it. I mean, that's the whole thing about, like, the teachers unions in California. They have a special place you go in California, in Los Angeles, if you are so bad or you're being investigated for something that they remove you from the classroom and you have to go sit in this room. So there's a bunch of teachers that do nothing and just sit in this classroom all day and stare at each other. Because you can't fire them. It costs like $500,000 to $1 million to fire them.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy. But you don't have to worry about that now because the Hulk's here and I'm here to smash unions.
Well, Chad, they're on one of the upper floors
of
this
one of the upper
building.
floors. You don't even understand something, Ken. You guys even try to come in here, I'm going to unleash.
Big balls.
That's what I'm here for. Coming up, we'll have some more mature things to get to. I think you guys are ready for that on this Friday. Plus, did you see, I don't know if you, well, Ken, maybe you see, did you see Sterling Sharp get put into the Hall of Fame?
No.
So Sterling, you know his brother Shannon?
Yeah.
So Sterling goes over to their house, and they've got it all set up, and his wife, she's like, he's coming. And so he's downstairs in like the basement. And he comes in, and he goes, where is he? He goes, oh, he's downstairs. He comes downstairs, and he's got the jacket on and stuff, and he goes, hey, brother, I want to welcome you. He goes, what, to your house? He goes, no, to the Hall of Fame.
Ah, cool.
And it was so cool. I was like, that is so awesome. And they both started crying.
Yeah.
Because he goes, this is the proudest moment. He goes, all the stuff I've ever done, Shannon said, this is the proudest moment of my life.
That's cool.
That is cool. Coming up, a lot of good stuff. More about balls and stuff, and we're crushing everybody's skulls. You guys want to try to take my education away or whatever. It'll be awesome. So this is surreal, isn't it, people? It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. National Weather Service confirms 2 tornadoes touched down in Tennessee last night. One of them was an EF1 in the Thornhill area of Granger County. That's about an hour's drive northeast of Knoxville, where at least 2 buildings were destroyed. Trees and power lines down, and this woman survived.
And I felt dirt hit me, and I screamed out, and I got up, and my husband said, honey said, there's a tornado coming.
The other tornado was an EF2 with winds up to 135 miles per hour near Deer Lodge in Morgan County, west of Knoxville. That's the one blamed for killing a mother and her daughter and injuring 3 others. An urgent search is underway in a remote area of Alaska for an airplane that has vanished.
9 passengers and a pilot were on board the Cessna Grand Caravan flying from the western part of Alaska to Nome. The plane disappeared from radar on Thursday. Military aircraft have been searching about a 30-mile stretch of coastline. The area is covered in sea ice. Ground crews have traveled the Iditarod Trail to look for the plane. There have been no known signs of the plane or exactly where it went down after vanishing from communication and radar.
2 months of strong job growth have give way to January slowdown, according to the monthly Labor Department numbers. President Trump's efforts to trim the federal workforce not reflected in the January jobs report, which showed a hiring slowdown. 143,000 jobs added last month, far fewer than the expected 170,000, although unemployment fell to 4%. The 5 lowest monthly jobs numbers since the start of 2022 have all come since April. Countdown to the Super Bowl. Here's Will Reeve in New Orleans.
Just 2 days separate the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs from their epic Super Bowl showdown.
And we go out there and leave everything we have on the football field.
Patrick Mahomes, already a 3-time Super Bowl winner and 3-time Super Bowl MVP, is on the verge of history with the Chiefs, who could be the first team ever to win 3 titles in a row. Jalen Hurts fell just short of glory with the Eagles just 2 years ago against these Chiefs in Super Bowl 57.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy Bee. New year, new comfort winter warm-up specials right now going on. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They got tons of specials going on right now. Everything you think of, from free air duct cleaning when you purchase a new complete whole home AC to upgraded packages for air duct cleaning to so many different things, including, this is what I love, you're going to get a smart thermostat with any HVAC replacement. That's a $200 value. But on top of that, with Busy Bee, we talk plumbing all day, right? Whether it's a repipe or how about this? You got a mainline issue. And come out and they're going to help you out big time with that. Put the camera down there. I used to have one of those. Wham, wham. See what's going on? They do it way better than I did. I'll tell you that right now. It is so awesome what Busy Bee will do for you. So whether you're struggling with plumbing, heating, don't go anywhere else, right? The Beehive Club has you covered. It's all about being smart, kids, and they're going to take care of you right now. Give them a buzz. You got any issues? Plus, come see us tomorrow. Dan and I are going to be out at the home show. So come on out and see us. We're all going to be there. Give them a call today. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 775-78-3333. 775-78-3333. Or go online and check them out at busybhvac.com. It's an interesting show. I started watching it. I saw the previews. I thought, this looks interesting. I love, and Ken, you've seen it. So, some of you have texted and said it is very interesting.
Yeah.
This girl, her name is Bailyn Dupree. She is, I think, 20, 21.
24.
Yeah. Oh, she's that old. Because I know her sister's 19 and she just moved out.
Right.
Because I think her sister's like, we've had enough of this.
Yeah.
But they're all close. The whole family's close. And a lot of it is what the family is going through with somebody who's got Tourette's, who's got like all of the Tourette's.
All.
Some of people get the twitch.
Right.
Some people have the curse. She's got all of it and OCD.
Yes.
Like of all of the worst you could think of in version of it. And one of the things, she talked about is when she started doing her TikToks, it wasn't to become famous. She kind of wanted to show the world like this is what happens on a daily basis with me. Mm-hmm. And then it blew up from there. And the amount of people she helps is tremendous. And the other thing is she has her moments, but man, the attitude she has is really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're going through it. But I can't lie to you, some of it is hilarious.
Tap that wiener, tap the rotisserie chicken. And scene. Off. My name is Bailyn. I'm 21 years old and I have Tourette syndrome. In a little baby weenie. Spotted alone in a safari. An itchy baby weenie. Sorry, I'm excited. Off. Off.
I love the
yeah. She's getting all yeahs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But watching like the things that she goes through, because she's got what, 2 little brothers and sisters or brothers?
Yeah, 2. She's got 3 little brothers, I think.
Yeah. But one a couple of them are little.
Yeah, one of them's only 9.
Yeah, and and so there's 5 of them, and then mom and dad. And they talk about and I was showing Belle some of this stuff because when you're in a situation like that, like with my little brother Spencer, people will look at us when we go out because we treat Spencer like he's like everybody else. I walk in there, I will make fun of him. We're going to Hooters. I mean, all that kind of stuff. We have a great time and we treat him. And people look at us and say, I can't believe you do that. Why? We treat him like because he's one of us.
Right.
And we still think there's some of him in there. And we love him to death. And he's my little brother. And if anything was ever happen to him, he was never supposed to live a day, let alone when he's lived. And if you don't know what that's like, it's devastating for people. When they see that and they think, oh my God, you treat him. I can't believe you do that because they feel very emotional, like they're doing something. And I'm like, no, you know what it is? I don't have pity for him. I love him. And I treat him like I would treat all of my other brothers and sisters because otherwise I'm doing him a disservice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're treating him as less than if you don't.
And so I coached his special needs soccer team, which, by the way, maybe the greatest of all time, right? Have you ever seen Shane Gillis talk about Special Olympics? When he goes, if your friend told you what they were going to do and they were going to race them, you'd be like, don't ever tell anybody this ever again. So I coached his special needs soccer team. And I coached club soccer and I wouldn't do it because kids are horrible. And I got to the point where, you get to a point where it's like, I don't want to deal with mom and dad. I don't want to deal with all this stuff. And they've got their own special trainers and stuff. I coached, the most fun I've ever had with soccer was coaching my little special needs team. And it was 2 teams. We played the same teams every week. It was the same team playing the other team. It was the best time. But when you're around people who have special needs kids, you learn so much. And what you have to go through, because so much of it is about the family, but also about the little brothers and sisters who you're blessed to have no problems, but mom and dad spend 90% of their day taking care of them, and you get left out. And that's a tough thing. And it's exhausting for mom and dad, too. Oh, my God. Especially with poor Bailyn here. Let's hear some more from her.
Tourette syndrome is a neurological, involuntary motor and vocal disorder that is chronic. Chronic dick. Slap that wiener. Wrap that wiener. Tap that wiener. Tourette syndrome causes me to have tics, and tics are sudden twitches, sounds, or movements that I do repetitively.
Stupid.
When I get the urge to tick, it feels like my skin is crawling and it's very, very itchy. After I do the tick or release the tick, the urge goes away.
And she has to do it, and she like her body won't let her stop. My little sister had a friend. His nickname, everybody called him, was Twitch, because he had Tourette's. He didn't have the cussing, but he had the involuntary, and it was all the time. And he would tell us at times how exhausted he was in life.
Absolutely.
Because his whole life was twitch, twitch, twitch. And he would wake up, in the morning and he'd be drenched in sweat because he would have twitched overnight sometimes, or he couldn't get to sleep, and when they gave him medicine, and this is what she talked about, it could stop some of the twitching, but what it did was make them feel awful. And it's so hard. And, we didn't have any Tourette's when I was coaching soccer. We had some Down syndrome. We had a lot of kids with autism. Mm-hmm. And autism, we joke about, like with what's his name, Elon, because he's a little bit, he's on the spectrum. Let's not pretend he's not. But I had a kid named Andrew. Like, are you there? You know what I mean? He would score a goal, mm-hmm. and he would start to run, and he would just take off, and he was gone. And his mom,
that was just it.
You see his mom chasing him. But he never showed any emotion.
Yeah. And
that's a tough thing for them, because you do wonder, what is there? Mm-hmm. And like they said, when his dad died, because Dad was on the other side of the country, they told him that his dad had died. She was telling me, at school one day, and he just looked and said, okay, and he just kept walking, because he just didn't. And they didn't have like a real relationship, but there was just zero emotion, and you do wonder what's there. And then you get the other side of it too, some of them who've got that form of autism, but they're also can be very violent. And it is, so my little brother's in a wheelchair. I also coach his basketball team. I don't know why. My mother used to make us all do this stuff. So we would go, and every year, it's like the same 2 or 3 teams, but one team had a kid on it, and he was massive. And he was also a little bit violent. And he would start coming at you. And my other little brother was pushing him around the court, Spencer, and the big guy was coming at him. And my other brother left Spencer and turned and ran. So my little brother's rolling away in a wheelchair. And I thought, but I was talking to his dad, because he was on my team at one time. And he said, we're at the point now where, and his dad's about 6'3", and he goes, but his son was like 6'4", 6'5". He goes, we're at the point now where we know we're going to have to put him in a home because we can't control him anymore.
That's
and
too bad,
we're terrified. Oddly enough, yesterday I was flipping around on the TikTok or one of those things, and I saw an Australian DJ, and he has a big show in Australia, talking about how he's having to do that with his kid and how devastating it is for his life. But they have a safe room to get to if their son freaks out. Mm-hmm. Like that is, and that's what I'm talking about, the exhaustion of stuff like this. And if you want to know what the show is called, it's called Balin Out Loud. But yes, she did say something about Joe Biden, and it would be remiss for me not to at least talk a little politics today. We'll let her do it, though.
It is like the perfect place to be, at least for me. So
she's out looking over the water, right? It's beautiful. She's with her boyfriend. I mean, her life, she's got a boyfriend. She's got all of that stuff. So she's out there looking at the water and said, look how beautiful it is. And then, of course, you remind yourself you got Tourette's.
Because Joe Biden lives in the White House. There's vaginas hanging from the White House. Joe Biden's buried in my backyard after snorting cocaine during the Revolutionary War of 1812. God.
Honestly, though,
literally.
Who doesn't do that?
I have no idea where this tick came from, but I can promise you I have no idea what the president's activities are or where he's buried. And he's still alive, so that's good.
It did. Yeah. Oh, poor thing. So if you have a chance, check out the show. It's just from the perspective of like we talk a lot of stuff, politics and all kinds of stuff, but that's real life, because everybody's had somebody who's got some issues, especially in today's world. We got a lot of kids with autism, family members with autism and stuff like that. Seeing how people and families deal with it, I think is a very it gives you a snapshot, where especially like even for my little brothers and sisters, how hard it is at times because Spencer is my mother's favorite and she tells us that all the time. And but seeing how these things handle and the actual situations on a daily basis of what people have to go through, and that you never know what one day is going to be life. Going out to even see friends at a mall and what chaos could come. And when she goes to the airport and she starts talking about how she has a gun.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
And she just can't help it.
She can't stop it.
She cannot stop. There's nothing she can do about it.
I mean, imagine that. You could do nothing to stop the thought in your head.
Right.
And then the things which she has to do 3 times, which is that they said the kitchen is the worst place because she might pick up a knife and try to stab you 3 times.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've gotten to the part where, they have been presented with an option for surgery, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
They have to drill into the middle of her brain. And I think I heard that, I believe I heard her mother talk about it last night. The success rate for this particular surgery is below 50%.
Yeah. I don't think I would. I mean, I'm assuming at some point in time when Elon's done fixing the government, he's going to come up with something where you get zapped 3 times and then
Hopefully.
it all goes away.
Yeah.
But they're not there yet. And I don't know if I'm ready for the drilling into the brain if that was my kid yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also, you talk about the parents, she's wanting to move out.
Yes.
And I tell you, dude, I'm only 3 episodes in, and I'm telling you, as a father, I could not do it. I could not let her go because of just what you said, just the danger in a kitchen.
Yeah. That's she wants this normal life, but that danger in the kitchen is something that's so, like it is so real, and she has no control over it. Like she walks over, she slaps food out of people's hands, and she they talk about, it's the place that they fear the most because she'll also try to put her hand on stuff.
Yes.
And you're right, that danger in the kitchen is terrifying. We're going to talk a little Super Bowl, a bunch of other stuff. We've got our guy in there, I think his name's Bell. He's waving at me or something. A bunch of other stuff to come. It's Friday, kids. We're having fun. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Go there, get a free bag of Rough Greens. It's a Jumpstart try bag. It's going to cost you nothing. It's $20 value. All you have to do is use my code CHAD. They're going to do something for you. They want you to take the challenge. It's a 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. So what's going to happen? Start giving 1 scoop a day to your dog. So when that starts, and if you have a cat, they have Rough Greens for cats as well. It's called Meow Greens. But the 90-day challenge, you're going to see, first and foremost, the coat. It's going to start to be shinier, a little bit more energy. By day 60, less joint pain, more mobility, still tons of energy, less shedding, coat's even shinier and fluffier. And by day 90, you're going to see, if your dog has pain, you're going to see that pain completely subside. You're going to see them with better heart health, more energy than ever before. It's like you're going to get a new dog almost. It is awesome. Take the 90-day challenge with Rough Greens and start with a Jumpstart trial bag for free. Go to ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD. Get that $20 value for free. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. Ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD.
2 tornadoes confirmed in Tennessee, one of them deadly. And President Trump just answered several questions about reciprocal trade, his comments about Gaza, and what to do about Ukraine and Russia. I'll have that for you coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, Trump, what are you going to do?
Basically, the United States would view it as a real estate transaction where we'll be an investor in that part of the world. And no rush to do anything. We wouldn't need anybody there. It would be supplied and given to us by Israel. They'll watch it in terms of security. We're not talking about boots in the ground.
He's still trying to figure out how he can put up a casino. He's doing everything he can. It's like, how do I get a casino over there? A golf course. Oh, man, how great. We could have the Live Golf Tournament. We could have a PGA Tour there. It'd be great, right? The Palestine Open.
Yeah.
He's trying. He's
just riffing, man.
He does that, man. He does. It's the thing with him. You know, with him, it is... He goes, and sometimes it gets him in trouble. And you got to admit that, guys. Yeah. I know a lot of you don't want to, because some of you put him on a pedestal that you shouldn't put him on because he's a human being. But he puts himself in situations because he just riffs and he throws stuff out there. And even if he doesn't mean it to be the way that everybody takes it, sometimes you sit there and you think, oh. Because for those out there who love Trump, right? Like I supported Trump, right? I voted for Trump. I want him to succeed big time. By the way, I didn't want Biden to fail. Everybody who wants the other side to fail so their side can win, so America could suck, so we could win is ridiculous. But I knew he was going to, but I didn't want him to. But in saying that, it's not about you who support Trump big time, because you're never going anywhere. He would have to do something really just insane. You're not going anywhere. It's the people that just got him over the hump that weren't sure. Because there's a lot more of those people out there. Those are the people, when you hear me talk about certain things, those are the people out there who are the swing voters that matter in this situation. Because both sides have their core voters who really aren't going many places. But it's that other group, which is a lot of times the exhausted majority. And that's how you expand that tent. And so you've got to think at times, he talks himself into situations that are amazing. And then he'll say something, you're like, you know, the easy thing would have been to say this. But he doubles down sometimes. And sometimes I think he's flabbergasted. Like, you guys really think I believe that? But it's just, he does, man. He goes out and riffs. And he needs to do that because, God bless him, he is not good from reading from the teleprompter.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can tell when he's reading.
Oh, God, yeah.
He does struggle at times with it. But whenever he's just going off.
And it's funny, too. You can tell when he's not quite sure what the next word is or something, and then he'll just ponder, and then he goes. Right? That's what he, and like when a lot of times when he gets himself in trouble, too, is because he's doing crowd work.
Yeah.
He's walking around with the mic going, hey, it's good to be here tonight. Right on, Cleveland. All right. Hey, make sure it's 2-drink minimum. Oh, my Lord. Super Bowl's this weekend. Are you guys pumped? I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm
I love it. I know a lot of people, I don't like this. Are you kidding me? It's going to be awesome. Maybe the biggest game, maybe the biggest watched television show ever.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Chiefs to lose.
Yeah. I'm going to give you guys my pick next hour. I'm going to tell you why I picked it, too. I'll break it down for you big time. Lot of Chief hate out there.
Boy, there is.
Well, you know what? We love that. We love when a team was down and when Mahomes came and it was all exciting. And then they won a whole bunch and everybody's like, now we hope they lose.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. Coming up next hour, soft power. What is that? Is it like low T? It is not. We're going to talk a little bit about it and why it's uber important that we have it. If you want to see the show, grab the podcast. It is Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. National Weather Service says 2 tornadoes touched down in Tennessee last night. That EF2 near Deer Lodge in Morgan County, about an hour drive west of Knoxville, had winds up to 135 miles per hour. That's the one blamed for killing a mother, her daughter, injuring 3 others. Lots of structural damage. Here's reporter Harry Sullivan telling Channel 4.
As the rebuild process starts, the search recovery operations still going on, still looking for more people, elderly folks that don't have access to cell service. One step you have it, the next step you don't. Crews still working hard.
National Weather Service also confirming an EF1 touchdown in the Thornhill area of Granger County. That's about 45 miles northeast of Knoxville. And during an Oval Office availability with Prime Minister of Japan, President Trump asked about possible action on reciprocal trade.
I'll be announcing that next week, reciprocal trade, so that we're treated evenly with other countries.
What about Elon Musk's efforts?
You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government.
How about taking over Gaza?
Would be supplied and given to us by Israel. They'll watch it in terms of security. We're not talking about boots on the ground or anything, but I think the fact that we're there, that we have an investment there, I think would go a long way to creating peace.
And then Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I will probably be meeting with President Zelensky next week, and I will probably be talking to President Putin. I'd like to see that war end for one primary reason. They're killing so many people.
And any moment now, President Trump and the Prime Minister of Japan will be holding a joint news conference. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hit it off on Capitol Hill this morning.
Today we discussed the special partnership that we have between these two countries, and I thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for his unrelenting commitment to making the region and the world a safer place amid really extraordinary challenges.
It's not only an alliance between governments. It's an alliance between peoples.
Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court calling on its members to stand united against President Trump's sanctions in response to its arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Here's ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett in Jerusalem.
The ICC very much vowing to continue its judicial work after Trump signed this order to impose sanctions on its staff. The ICC said it stands firmly by its personnel and that the order seeks to harm its independent and impartial work, very much pledging to continue providing justice and hope to millions of innocent victims of atrocities across the world. That's according to the ICC statement.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Soft power. What is soft power, Jen? U.S. aid was supposed to be soft power. Don't say anything crazy because you're already laughing, Bell. Low T.
Sorry.
Ken, sometimes when you start doing your news, you'll say something like, in a little bit, Trump's going to meet with the Japanese prime minister. I'm waiting for him to go, so Godzilla, is he real or what's that?
Do you need to borrow King Kong?
We've got him. Is he real? He's not? Oh, that's a movie. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. They probably show him King Kong versus Godzilla. They're like, he's which one of them works for us?
Yeah, he probably did watch that movie with him.
Yeah.
Say, you see, America always wins.
See that? We help you, you help us, and you're welcome for Godzilla because without the nuclear bomb, no Godzilla. You're welcome. So soft power is important, though. USA, the thing that everybody's been talking about, which is, by the way, some of the stuff in there is ridiculous, right? Some of the stuff in there was fronts for the CIA. You know what? They're doing whatever they were doing. We need them. They're not going away, and we use them for a reason. Could be roguey at times, as we all know. But better us than them. But soft power is important. And there's a reason for that. So everybody thinks, well, good, we're going to close this thing down. First of all, we're not closing it down. Marco Rubio said yesterday, we're going to identify the stuff that works, the stuff that is aligned with what we're trying to do, and we're still going to have foreign aid. They may close it down as its own agency and move it back to where it used to be, because it used to be under the, it was like, it's been under the Department of several different things, right? There's a Commerce, the Secretary of this, and we moved them from this department over here, and then it became its own little agency. Rather than being underneath another agency, it was, instead of being the State Department, they moved it out. But soft power is important. And the problem with so much of the way that all of this has gone over the last week and a half, is because, first, the Democrats have no idea at all how to explain anything. Secondly, the media coverage has been against Elon Musk and not talking about the things that needed to be talked about when it comes to this. And earlier today, Morning Joe tried to explain it, right? And look, be honest with you, he makes me laugh at times because it's just so bizarre, he and his wife. But the way that they come at everything is so just, you also missed the mark. And that's so much of what the Democrats have learned nothing. They've been on the wrong side of so many things, especially cultural things, that it makes me laugh. And it shouldn't be hard to explain why we need this, but they can't.
That you're making, which is, let's not fight about this. It's foreign aid. Foreign aid's not popular. Let's talk about eggs, or let's talk. No, this is a fight that I don't care what polls say right now. If it's a 50-50 split, I still have confidence in the American people that they don't want children to die in Sudan. They don't want them to starve to death in Sudan. And they don't want malaria spreading all over Africa. They don't want these diseases spreading all over the world. They don't want George W. Bush's PEPFAR project, which has saved 25 million lives so far across the world. They don't want those stopped at the end of the day if Democrats will actually explain that to them.
It's not about Sudan. It's not about PEPFAR, which is George W. Bush. He set this thing up to combat AIDS in Africa because there was so much disinformation, so much stuff that was missed, so many things in Africa it was just horrific and awful. And the spread of AIDS was absolutely just like we can't even imagine.
I 100% agree with him. I don't think people want any of those things to happen, but they don't necessarily want government handling it.
Well, the big issue is why we had this, why they set it up originally. So John F. Kennedy sets it up, It's not this altruistic thing. Yes, kind of is in some ways. Hey, we could look at us, we're the beacon of hope, and blah, 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 blah. But also because at the time, it's the Cold War. In the Cold War, it was who can win the hearts and minds of people? Okay? Who can win the hearts and minds of people in other countries as they tried to spread communism and we tried to spread freedom? Money goes a long way, especially when countries don't have anything. And that's a lot of where it was easy to take the battle to. It's not the, can we help people in Africa? Because I don't think anybody wants people to starve anywhere. And the fact is, we're talking about AIDS. Very rarely does anybody die of AIDS anymore. Here? I mean, you see those commercials like, you take one of these and you never have to worry about anything again, blah, 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 blah. They're dying like it's the 80s again over there. That's how bad it is. Malaria? You still want to know what the animal's the most deadly in the world? It ain't the shark. It's a mosquito. It's a bug, I know, but still. We don't want any of that. But you know what else we don't want? Puppet shows about gender, musicals about trans issues in countries that don't want any of that stuff. It's like we have Hollywood shoving their wacky ideas out to the world. And by the way, like if you were to do a puppet show about gender in some of these countries, the puppet would be like, what do you think I should tell everybody? I think you should keep your mouth shut before they throw you off the top of a building. Like that's the only way that puppet show should go. Kermit Jihad Frog? Why do birds suddenly appear? It's stupid. We don't want that. The stuff that we get from these countries, and some of you out there, well, we do. Because the last thing we want is China spreading their wings. Because they don't care about spreading communism. You know what they want? Your stuff. They want to own all of your minerals. They want to own all of your stuff so they can hold the world hostage and make everybody come to them to get the things that we need. We want to know that, hey, guess what? This horrific terrorist, he's in our country. Just want to let you guys know that. Spreading soft power like that, it's a good thing. Spreading ridiculousness that has been done is what got everybody energized and charged up about this. There's no doubt about that. And we need allies in regions that are dangerous and could boil over and explode. We need it. And that's just strategic. It's strategery. That's what it is. And they don't explain it that way, and they don't get that it's not about whether or not the kid in Sudan is going to get this stuff that looks like peanut butter that's paste that will save their life. It's not that. It's about, as you give it to them, are you going to also show them that they could be trans? Are they worried about their gender? That was the issue that so many people had. The ridiculous, stupid things that made people angry. Teaching, what was it, Sri Lanka. We spend $1 million+ in Sri Lanka to teach their journalists how to avoid gendered language. Do you really think people in Sri Lanka care about gendered language? I probably don't think they do. That's the stuff. It's about strategic soft power and being able to handle that. And Marco Rubio said it yesterday. You guys probably nobody heard it, but because that's one of those things that it's not very exciting, so it didn't get covered. He said, we're not getting rid of the programs. We're getting rid of the ones that don't work, and we're getting rid of the ones that do not fit where America is going and what is best for America. But to think that, we're going to get rid of all of this, no, it's not. It's not going to happen. But it was, once again, a cultural battle of people who live here in America who think they know, because they live in a place where they have all this freedom, that the rest of the world should feel the same way, and they don't. And so wasting millions of dollars on ridiculous things like, LGBTQ plus diversity training in Serbia or wherever. Yeah, that's not going to go over well. Right? Like, Ken's all shaking his head. No. Nobody wants that. That's where you fail. It's the cultural side of a swing and a miss. They were spending, I think, several $1 million in Jamaica for LGBT things. You're not reading the room. And that's what the Democrats are. The Democrats never read the room. They are so bad at reading the room. They fail over and over again. Scott Jennings, Lonely Scott as we call him, actually talked about the swing and the miss over and over again.
Currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating.
Harry Enton, who does all the polls on CNN, he did the trans sports poll. 79% of Americans, including a vast majority of Democrats, thought, no, they shouldn't play in girls' sports. Yeah, it was only 10 in college. But it wasn't about them playing in girls' sports. It was the cultural issue of gaslighting America, using this thing to push out insane ideas, especially onto the youth of America, and the battle that went along with it, and trying to tell everybody, yes, you have to believe, all 1984 style, that right there constitute a woman. That's why it was a big deal. Was it a big deal because of the amount? Again, 10, maybe 11 in college sports. Now, it was a big deal to the ladies, but it was a issue that was bigger than that in the cultural battle, and they continue to swing and miss. And they took that, and they thought they'd push it out to the world and say, this is what everybody else should do. And they found out, the rest of the world, they want to eat. They want to have a chance at having infrastructure to keep their lights on all the time. You know what they want? They want clean water. Guys, we'll give you guys some clean water, but first, here's the genderbread man. You know what they did with that? They ate the genderbread man.
And asked for seconds.
Don't do that. It's about common sense, which is uncommon with the Democrats right now. They run their entire world on emotion. And the ones who don't, who put their heads down and trying to get stuff done and reach across the aisle, you're never going to get heard from. You're not loud enough, and you need to take your party back because we do need balance in this country. Yeah, I'm more conservative, but you know what I fear? With unchecked power comes craziness too. And I don't know how many times we've seen unchecked power where there's always that one that goes too far, and then next thing you know, that pendulum swings back the other way, and that's something we don't want. Right? Common sense. That's all I'm asking for, people. Coming up, little Super Bowl talk. Once again, I'm not in the Super Bowl. You know what? I wouldn't even go if they offered me tickets.
I don't believe you.
No, I wouldn't. You know what? I've been to one NFL game, and two. I've been to two NFL games, and I thought, my TV, my couch, more comfortable, better viewing.
Close restroom.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's the way I look at it. Now, I would go to see an NFL game. If the Super Bowl was in L.A. and I had tickets, I might go because you have that giant screen and stuff. But right now, no.
What
I'm
about
not going
after
to
we get our overhead stadium and we have a Super Bowl here?
Yeah.
Don't care then?
When's that opening?
When is it opening, Ken? Do you remember the new stadium?
Man,
Is it 2028?
I think it's going to be 2027, the earliest.
Okay.
Man, that's going to be interesting. Well, we'll see. I might go see a game there. I might. But
I
my
might go
TV
hang out
still...
in one of the restaurants there and see a game.
Yeah.
Matt and I went together one time, and we were literally, as we're walking to our seats, I'm looking down at the concrete, and I'm going, wow, rebar, that's interesting.
Oh, wow, that's awful. That is horrible. Man, that stadium's not that old.
No, it's 25 years old, I think. 25 or 26.
Yeah, think about where the Chiefs play. That place has been around forever. And yet this place has already fallen apart. Who built this place? They built it with Legos.
Yes.
Lincoln
Tinker
Logs.
Toys.
And super glue.
It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold. Text the word Benson to 989898. What are they going to do, and why would I want gold, Chad? Well, let me tell you. Gold is a great way to hedge yourself. Inflationary situations that you may find yourself in, especially when you think about the market, where it might go, uncertainty in the market, uncertainty in the world, and then you start throwing in zombie apocalypse, but also a weakened dollar and many other things. It's just a great way to protect yourself to the downside. So text the word Benson to 989898. Birch Gold's going to send you out a free investor's guide, which is cool. But they're also going to get you the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era. Forward done by Don Jr. Explained a lot about why gold is what it is, where it could be golding under Trump, and it's free to you right now. Plus, they're going to show you through their investor kit how even switching over to a gold-backed IRA or 401k at no cost is a huge way, again, to protect yourself. Text the word now to get Benson to get all of these things free. So that's Benson to 989898 right now. Don't take a chance. Don't miss out on this. Text the word Benson to 989898 for Birch Gold.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
I started work in the early 60s, and Tennessee had a deer stalking program already in place going, primarily from Clarksville base within the Fort Campbell area. From that area, a lot of deer were stalked in middle and west Tennessee, and then later on, we started taking deer from those areas and stalking other areas. So it was a progression. It moved pretty fast. The deer sometimes were faster than the stalkers were.
I bet that was pretty exciting trying to trap those deer and move them and know that you're making a huge impact.
Well, we wasn't all that confident.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of the counties had dog problems. You know, they'd be wanting to dog the deer, and it didn't hold up under that kind of pressure. And we had to go back in and restock. And there was a lot of different types of law enforcement work that had to be done.
I hear you.
And the officers did a good job. And we talked to a lot of the judges, and they clamped down pretty hard on somebody poaching deer out there. Back then, we only put out 15 or 20 deer. It was critical. In fact, at that time, it could cost you your truck.
Yeah. It's an amazing success story. You hear folks saying, well, we didn't see a deer when I was a kid, and now you just have to walk out your back door and you got in a subdivision grazing or driving down the interstate highways or whatever, you see a deer just about every day.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we're too efficient.
Some folks say back in the good old days, but I don't know. Right now, hunting and fishing is really good.
A third tornado confirmed to have touched down in Tennessee, and 9 people on board a plane that has disappeared over Alaska. These stories and more at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got to be honest with you. Flying right now is not giving me.
I'm telling you.
It's the safest way to. In my mind, I know it's the safest way to fly. I mean, the safest way to go. In my mind, I know that you could fly for 1 billion years and never have any issues.
Sure.
That being said, there have been a few issues.
Just a few, man. I'm telling you, the place where they're searching for this plane, Basically, it's an ice-covered body of water.
Wow.
Where, this thing could have gone down in the ice and it could have just frozen over.
When did it disappear?
Last night.
Oh, whoa, that's even worse.
And here's the thing. The weather was horrible. So it makes you wonder, who made the decision?
Who made the decision? That's always about, remember JFK Jr.?
Yes.
He wasn't a good enough pilot to be flying in that, and good pilots would have never flown in that.
Yeah.
If I was a Kennedy like that, I'm just staying in my room all day.
Yeah.
Because it feels like something's coming for you, like the movie Final Destination.
Always. Yeah.
Like they're coming for you. Who? Death. The fact that Bobby's lived this long is pretty amazing when you think about it. The Super Bowl is this weekend. For those of you not keeping score, the chance of this being history is very real. And I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. I mean, everybody is on the big three-peat train. There's no doubt about that. I get it, right?
The betting market thinks the Chiefs will win. Kansas City a 1.5-point favorite over the Eagles. The Eagles may be ignoring those odds, considering they have MVP finalist and newly crowned Offensive Player of the Year star running back Saquon Barkley.
And you definitely can't accomplish awards like this without the big boys up front.
That right there is the reason the Eagles are going to win. The Chiefs' run defense was okay this year. In the playoff, it's been awful. The Eagles' defense wins championships, and their defense is pretty much top 5 across the board. And oh, by the way, nobody smashes your face and runs the ball like these guys.
Yeah, and if they don't smash your face, Saquon Barkley will just hurdle you.
Yeah, backwards.
Yeah, backward.
If you didn't see that, it was pretty amazing. He made a move, spun around, and then he jumped in the air, and the guy, while he was facing the other direction, he jumped in the air, did the splits. Dude went right underneath him. They are, you know what, the Eagles are one of those teams where you look at them, and they're outside of Barkley. You're like, man, they're okay. I mean, Hurts gets the job done. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Not a top 10 quarterback. But you know what? You look around and you go, wait a minute here. How do we lose to those guys? And not only that, how did they rush for 7 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Think about that. Barkley should have broken the record for most rushing yards this year. But on numerous occasions, when he had massive amounts of opportunity to continue to rush, he said, no, let the young guys eat.
Yep.
Let the young guys eat. Now, I still think it's not the record because whether people want to admit it or not, yes, OJ did kill a few people allegedly. Well, he did. Let's be real. He's dead. He's not coming after us. The reality is he did it in 14 games. Well, I'm just letting you guys know that.
He was something else.
He was something else. I mean, like, whew. I mean, I can't get past the fact that you killed 2 people. But, boy, when I watch your highlights, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that armed robbery thing kind of puts me off a bit, too.
Yeah, you forgot about that. Oh, yeah, you held people hostage, right?
That's
you kidnapped people.
You kidnapped them.
But the Eagles are built, like some teams are built to win in the playoffs. Other teams are built to win for the regular season. The Chiefs, they have the grit. They have that rise in the moment, and they've got a guy who is going for the rarest of errors. He'll be the only one on this mountain if they win 3 in a row as a quarterback. But there's just something about the Eagles. There's revenge from a couple of years ago, and I just think this is the year they get it done. 24-17. And you know what else? I've avoided all of the commercials because I want to be surprised. Why do we have trailers for commercials?
Right. I want to see them for the first time in the game.
That's it. That's what I want to see. So I avoided them all because they're everywhere, like ABC, NBC, CBS. They all have, look at this, and Nate Spagazzi's is doing this for DoorDash and so-and-so. I'm like, I don't want to see it until it's the day of. And I'm excited for that. Coming up, who knows what else we're going to talk about. I got so much stuff to talk about that's just not this. Oh, you know what? We're going to talk about cats and cruises.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get ready for this, kids. The Scottish are trying to screw the world when it comes to cats, and they're lying about it. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. The National Weather Service now says 3 tornadoes touched down in Tennessee last night. It was the F2 near Deer Lodge in Morgan County, about an hour drive west of Knoxville. Had winds reaching 135 miles per hour. It's the one blamed for killing a mother and her daughter and injuring 3 others. Here's reporter Harley Sullivan talking to Channel 4.
THP troopers I talked to earlier this morning said that 2 people at least were able to get themselves to the hospital. And so many people have been out trying to help, saying, what can I do? One man I talked to was riding a 4-wheeler, pulled up. He had a chainsaw strapped to the front of it and said, hey, have you seen anything? I just came from my house. Everyone at my home's okay. My neighbor's house is not in great shape. I had to inform him of the people that passed away. He did not know that. He had no cell service. He had none of that. He wasn't sure where they were. They were not his neighbors.
National Weather Service confirming an EF1 touchdown in Granger County. Also, the third one, an EF1 packing 110 mile per hour winds. This one was going to be in Jackson County. An urgent search underway in a remote area of Alaska for an airplane that has vanished. 9 passengers and a pilot on board the Cessna Grand Caravan flying from the western part of Alaska to Nome. The plane disappeared from radar yesterday. Military aircraft have been searching about a 30-mile stretch of coastline, the area covered in sea ice. And it's been 1 month since the deadly California wildfires.
It was January 7th, 31 days ago. 100-mile-per-hour winds were hitting Los Angeles County and flames were raging. Police heard on body-worn camera audio rescuing nursing home residents in Pasadena.
No, I got you.
Now, 1 month later, LA Mayor Karen Bass is announcing the opening of a one-stop center for Palisades residents to get answers and help rebuilding.
To streamline the rebuilding process.
And still a month later, how the 2 big deadly fires started is unknown.
That's Alex Stone. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Why don't you call my friends over at Beacon Capital Management? Get a hold of their retirement ready toolkit. 615-488-9303. You know what's great about Beacon is they're local. You go shake their hands. And with all the stuff going on, you want to make sure you're protected, and they're going to help you with that. Many people out there worry about that, especially as people are in or close to retirement, and they're ready to help you. So if you're near that age or you're near that situation where you're thinking you're ready, make sure you're ready. Let them help you with that. They're going to get you a free retirement ready toolkit. So this is what you're going to get when you get. So you call them, 615-488-9303. They're like, hey, what's going on? And simple and easy, no obligation, no cost, no pressure. And they're going to get out to you Money Enough for Life book, retirement planning checklist, and maximizing your retirement income white paper. Again, no cost, no obligation, and no pressure with Beacon. Call them today for your free retirement ready toolkit, 615-488-9303. That's 615-488-9303, or find them online at askbeaconnow.com. Some of you are texting in your disdain for the NFL. Don't care. Neither does the NFL. They're doing okay. I wonder if that must frustrate people. I thought nobody was ever going to watch again.
They
8
lied.
million for a commercial.
They lied.
They're thinking this may be the biggest watched event in American television history.
Over the MASH finale? Wow.
There's a possibility. The MASH finale was huge. Remember that? You think about now, all the way that we watch television and how it's so, segregated and, we watch it here and there. And that was an event. Just like JR, right? Who shot JR? Those were events. Roots, right? Shogun, James Michener's Hawaii. like those were events. Not anymore. Now it's like, did you see this? Yeah. I love watching, like, I've got shows, like there's a new show called On Call on Amazon. It's about police. It's a great show. It's amazing. And my issue with it is, okay, great. There was 10 great episodes. Now what, do I have to wait 5 years before I get another one? Like, what's that other, the Stranger Things? I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Millie Bobby Brown is a grown woman.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to do this season 5, man.
She's a grown married woman.
She's a grown married woman with grown married parts.
Yep. Yes.
You're disgusting. I'm being honest. You're looking there going, how are you going to do this?
You know who she's married to?
Bon Jovi's kid, right?
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. So.
He better not make her mad.
No, you better not. What's her name? 14? Is that what she's?
11.
11. There you go. What happened to 14? I don't know. Disappeared. Couldn't find 14. Scotland's a place I lived for a while. Falkirk, right outside of Glasgow. Glaswegians, you know who you are. Guess what they're trying to do? And I'm calling baloney on it right now. They're trying to get rid of cats.
700 million.
Now, I told you, Bell, 700 million birds is what they said cats kill.
Yeah.
Okay. I find that baloney, but I'm going to double, triple check.
Scottish cat owners can breathe easy after government leaders confirm there won't be a ban, despite a report warning their pets could be a threat to the environment. The Scottish Animal Welfare Commission shapes policies to protect animals, pets, and wild ones, working directly with government officials to craft policies. Last year, the group submitted a report showing cats are killing 700 million birds and other animals each year in the UK, impacting Scotland's wildlife. The Scottish government says they were considering the report from the commission, causing rumors to swell that they could put a ban on cats.
I've looked it up, and they say this. I just thinking, how is it that the UK? Why, first of all, why aren't the English cats being yelled at? But why is it that 700 million birds? Like, is that a lifetime of birds? Have you counted that? How do you know? Where do you get that number from? That's what I would have said to them. What do you get that crazy number from? That cats kill 700 million? You liars.
Bunch of ginger insanity.
It's exactly what it is. But that's what they say. Now, they say they're never going to ban anything. But wait, there's going to be maybe some rules. And that, of course, is very British.
Headlines quickly followed, with stories like cats in Scotland could be banned under strict new wildlife plans, or SNP to consider banning cats. Welfare experts urged officials to consider establishing containment zones to protect vulnerable wildlife from both feral and domestic cats, including using leashes when outdoors or keeping them inside altogether. They also called for legislation making owners responsible for microchipping and controlling cat breeding. But First Minister John Swinney clarified the government has no intention of banning or restricting cats.
No intention. This is the same group, right? The Scots and you know the English that put a person in cuffs for Facebook post, for farting into a phone. I mean, this is that lunacy. But the whole, like, take your cat out on a leash. Have you ever seen a cat on a leash?
It's
got a new
pretty.
cat. What?
It's not pretty.
It's not. They want no part of that. Zero. Like, Belle, you've got cats that hate you.
No, my cats love me.
They like to break your stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything in my room is on the floor.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know the world's not flat.
Because if it
they
was,
would have knocked
then
everything
cats
over.
would have knocked everything off of it already.
We have Santa Claus, as you guys know, who didn't like us this year. He brought us a kitty. And Dr. Baltimore is his name. Buckaroo Baltimore. DDS. He's a dentist. He is insane, and he is great. He is crazy. There is no chance you could get him on a leash. And that's what they're going to do? And now they want you to have a special chip? I say nay. I know it wasn't 700 just million birds, but it was birds and whatever else. But there's not a lot of whatever else in Britain. It's not like they've got a ton of that stuff. I just don't know how you would even count that many animals. But this is all about climate change. The flu season is in full effect, if you guys are unaware. It is a bad season.
If doctors' visits are the benchmark, this flu season is the worst since 2009-2010. CDC data found that last week's number of visits driven by flu-like symptoms was higher than at any point in the last 15 years. February is the traditional flu season peak, and the CDC estimates this season has seen at least 24 million illnesses, 310,000 hospitalizations, and 13,000 deaths, including more than 50 children.
13,000 deaths. Think about that. It's awful. And a lot of people I know have had the flu. But this is a different story about the flu. If you've ever taken a cruise, you've taken a cruise, Ken?
Never have.
If you do, so like if you ever watch the cruise, you know, like the Love Boat, right?
Yeah,
and they got the dock there, and if somebody gets sick, they just hand them some medicine or take care of them, and it's like, oh, it's great. So that's not the way it really works. You better be prepared to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know how I'm going to ever pay him off. I'm going to have to, but I don't know how.
New tonight, they won a free cruise, but it quickly turned into a nightmare. And now a Bram couple owes nearly $50,000. It all started after one of them came down with the flu and went to the ship's medical center for treatment.
Fox 9's Mike Manzoni spoke with this couple, and Mike, they're now worried this could send them into bankruptcy because of the high cost of the medical bills.
Yeah, Mike Cameron took a cruise with his girlfriend to the Caribbean islands earlier this month, but he never imagined that a bout with the flu would cost him $47,000.
47 grand.
Wow.
So, because you have to pay cash for every, even though you may have insurance and this, that, and the other, you can get with it. But listen to what happened, because if you've never been on a cruise, when you get on a cruise, the thing they do is they take your credit card and they swipe it. So you don't have to pay for anything on the cruise. They're just going to total it up at the end.
That one is saying we're sorry about your bad experience.
Just days into their week-long Caribbean cruise, things took a dark turn for Mike Cameron and his girlfriend Tamara Masterman.
They got him hooked up, catheters, IVs.
He came down with a bad case of the flu and ended up in the medical ward on board Norwegian Cruise Line's Encore ship. He recovered but felt sick again when he saw what it cost for 3 days of treatment.
To turn around the day we're leaving and get handed a $47,000 bill, I just didn't even know what to do.
47 grand.
Goodness.
$47,000. There's no Isaac to take care of you, right?
No.
Captain Steubing wasn't anywhere. There's no Julie.
Oh, Julie.
None of that was happening. And let's not even forget about Gopher.
Yeah, Gopher. He's
right.
He's
By the way,
he's probably trying to kiss your wife.
Probably. Wasn't he? He was in government, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was a congressperson from Nebraska or somewhere like that.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
So, 47 grand, and I'm trying to think what you get for 47,000 and how do you even justify that?
They thought the travel insurance they bought from Norwegian had them covered.
And everybody in the medical ward kept saying, "Don't worry, you have $20,000 coverage. You'll be just fine."
But filing a claim turned into yet another headache.
Well, the traveler's insurance doesn't want to pay it until we run it by our health insurance. The health insurance doesn't want to pay it because it's abroad.
In the meantime, the interest is quickly adding up on that $47,000 bill, and they're running out of options.
We didn't get a chance to pay. They just took it out. Yeah. Yeah, they just maxed our 2 credit cards out. You start thinking, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your cars.
And Norwegian told them in a letter that the bill was accurate and added that its pricing is competitive. We reached out to the cruise line to see if it typically costs nearly $50,000 to treat the flu. A spokesperson told us that the cruise line is looking into it.
How is that how would I even know what the competitive rate is for the flu?
And is that supposed to make you feel better?
Hey, you know what? I'm giving you guys a deal. I cut you guys 10% off. That is insane.
Wow.
It is crazy.
So they just took it right off the credit
Right off the credit card. So they maxed their credit cards out. They had like 20 grand on the credit cards. They maxed it all out. And now they're trying to figure it out. And they have insurance. But the insurance is like, well, you got to send to your other insurance to make sure that this is. And it's because how frustrated, though, because you have no recourse.
No.
What do you, I mean, there's very little that you're going to be able to do.
So do you agree to all that before you?
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things. And it's a free cruise, too. How's your free cruise? It cost me 47
that's
grand.
true. Yeah, it cost me 50 grand.
But the whole thought of, because my buddy's dad, he was a retired doctor, and he would go and work on cruises. And people bring cash, and they'll feel good. It's a couple $100 here and there. And he used to tell us, too, there's morgues on cruise, by the way, if you don't know. Because if you go on a cruise, especially like to Alaska, a lot of older people on there, everybody you're cruising with may not make it home alive.
Yeah. Do have to think about that.
So you got 6,000 people, and they're all at the further end of the actuary table. But 47 grand, and I'm thinking to myself, for that, like wow. Yeah, I'm trying to think. He got some IVs, and it's competitive. That was the other thing. They're like, it's pretty competitive. Yeah. I don't know what does celebrity charge?
Man.
They don't have doctors on celebrity. Let's be real.
By the way, Gopher.
Fred Gandy.
Yeah, Fred Gandy. He became a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from the state of Iowa.
Iowa. There we go, kids. I think it wasn't Nebraska. It was Iowa indeed for the Gopher, for the win. Isaac was the first celebrity I ever met.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I love Isaac.
I was at a soccer camp at Long Beach State, and he was there teaching something.
Really?
Yeah, like it was, I was probably 10, so it was like the height of the Love Boat, and we were all eating lunch. All the soccer kids came in to eat lunch, and he was there because there's this big cafeteria, and I think he was there teaching like a summer program for acting, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Isaac. It's the greatest day of my life. Coming up, kids, on the Chad Benson Show, we got a lot of other good stuff to get to today. There's a kerfuffle in front of the Department of Education. We'll discuss that, among other things. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Raycons are amazing. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad now. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Now, when you go there, you're going to see a bunch of amazing things. We talk about the earbuds that are amazing. I love my earbuds. They're incredible, fast charging. They fit amazing. It's just really incredible, the fit and the feel you get with these. But there's tons of other stuff. They've got tech kits. They've got power tech kits. What's a power tech? You get the magic charger, 65 watts. That thing charges everything. They got the magic cable. They got headphones and so many things, including the open headphones. So those are the bone conductive headphones, which are incredible. Everything is 20% off right now when you use my code. So you go to buyraycon.com/Chad, 20% off, 30-day happiness guarantee. If you want the best in sound quality, the best when it comes to fit and feel, it is Raycons. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad.
3 tornadoes now confirmed to have touched down in Tennessee last night. President Trump answered questions today about Elon Musk and Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky. All this and more at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lot of people are chiming in about the cost of the flu in the middle of the ocean. They're all competitive because you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah. Wow, man.
47 grand.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, there's nothing you can do about it.
It's a done deal.
Think about that. You're in the middle of the ocean. You have nowhere else to go. And I've been on several cruises. They're fun. I don't eat with everybody. I'm a weirdo like that. But I also never want to get, my fear is I'm going to get that, what's that nasty virus? Norovirus?
Norovirus, yeah.
So you're saying you won't eat in the restaurants?
I'll go eat in the restaurants, but I don't go to the big buffets and stuff like that.
Okay.
I go, and you know what's great, too? Ordering food at like 1 in the morning. Like, yeah, can you bring me a pizza? And they're like, yeah, we'll be right up. And they bring you a pizza.
They have like regular room service on cruises, right? Yeah.
So it's awesome because I'm like, oh, cool. You know, so when everybody else gets the norovirus and they're, and I'm sitting out there by myself going, this is awesome.
Suddenly they're going, do you know how to steer the boat? The captain's gone ill.
Be awesome. I could totally do that. I got this. Just like a plane, I got this.
Step aside.
Somebody's mad at me. It's like, you need to apologize.
For
JFK
what?
wasn't in bad weather when he flew. Any pilot could have flown that or something like that.
Well, he didn't.
Well, the key wasn't instrument rated. And if you go and look, it said, because I said, other pilots during interviews said, no, I wouldn't have flown in this.
Yep.
Not that you couldn't, because you can fly in anything. By the way, that plane that went down in Alaska, we don't know why it went down, but other pilots might have tried it and would have been fine. But some other ones who were really good said, I don't want to do this. Although right now, did you see there was another, was it in Washington? It was Seattle, where a Delta plane got hit by a Japanese airline?
Yeah, sliced its tail wing.
On the ground in the air.
That's when you're thankful you were still on the ground, no matter how delayed you were.
Yeah. This is why, kids. This is why we can't have flying cars.
Can you imagine what that's going to be like, man?
You're trying to sound sarcastic, but it's the truth.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming, boys.
So let's see here. My wife had a stomach virus in Dominican Republic, I guess. $40 later, I had a small bottle of Pepto and some Peptide. I'm like, I spent $400 for her to feel better. Elon, what do we got here? Don't go on a cruise ship. It's that simple. No, somebody said that they believe that Norwegian has the free healthcare, but I don't think so. I don't know if you have to bring your own stuff though if you're a doctor.
Wow.
Right? Like it is crazy though to think, because you're out in the middle of the ocean. If you've got to expect that there are going to be some people that get sick, and I'm not talking about seasick, but like potentially really ill for something, have a heart attack or something like that. And you're so far away from anything, so you have to have enough stuff to care for somebody, at least temporarily, because if it's really bad, they can life flight you to a lot of places.
Norway has universal health care, but it is not completely free. It's free if you're under 16, pregnant, nursing, or you have an occupational injury. But the annual deductible for the insurance is 2,400 Norwegian kroner.
But is that the cruise line?
No, that's just Norway as a country.
Yeah, but Norwegians has a cruise line. You didn't even know that.
The country has the cruise line,
or a company? It's called Norwegian.
Well, yeah, but there's companies out there called American, and they're not part of the government.
Yeah, but there's no American cruise line. Welcome to American.
You don't know.
I'm pretty sure I do. Celebrity, Holland, those are good. Ladies and gentlemen, Bell, for everybody out there. Bell, headless, learning more every day, Bell. You're doing well. You're doing well. Coming up with the third hour. Still some fun stuff. We'll talk more about the insanity as everybody's running around with hair on fire because of a 19-year-old kid who goes by, are you ready for this, everybody? The moniker of, hold on, Aaron, what's the name again?
Big Balls.
There you go. Talk a little bit about that. More on the Department of Education and the standoff. Giggity, giggity. It is the Chad Benson Show at Super Talk 99.7.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. 3 tornadoes now confirmed by the National Weather Service to have touched down in Tennessee last night. Reporter Harry Sullivan's in Morgan County, about an hour drive west of Knoxville, describing chaos, but utility crews gaining ground on repairs.
Got dogs running around, people telling us, hey, have you seen this? We saw a beagle, a lab back at one of the churches we were at. So just kind of mayhem, but also controlled a little bit right now with so many linemen out restoring power. We got here about 5 a.m. Eastern time, pitch black. It was hard to see any damage. There are power poles that have been fully replaced from 9 o'clock last night to 5 a.m. this morning. There's not a ton of people out here in terms of the co-op, the electric co-op that runs through Morgan County, about 6,000 total customers. Earlier this morning, the outage was only at about 600. That's continued to fall as the day has progressed.
Morgan County's where a mother and daughter died. 3 other people injured by what the National Weather Service says was an EF2 tornado packing 135-mile-per-hour winds. Right now in our nation's capital, President Trump holding a joint news conference with Japan Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Earlier, they were in the Oval Office where reporters asked Trump about taking over Gaza.
President Trump was asked for an update on the timeline for his proposal for the U.S. taking over Gaza. He told reporters in the Oval Office Friday there were no further discussions on a timetable.
Basically, the United States would view it as a real estate transaction where we'll be an investor in that part of the world. And no rush to do anything. We wouldn't need anybody there.
The president again said Gaza would be given to the U.S. by Israel, but suggested the Israelis would be responsible for security there because there would be no U.S. forces on the ground.
That's Karen Travers reporting. Reporters also asked about Elon Musk's government work.
You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government.
And any plans to meet with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky?
I will probably be meeting with President Zelensky next week, and I will probably be talking to President Putin. I'd like to see that war end for one primary reason. They're killing so many people.
Countdown to the Super Bowl. Will Reeve is in New Orleans.
The betting market thinks the Chiefs will win. Kansas City a 1.5-point favorite over the Eagles. The Eagles may be ignoring those odds, considering they have MVP finalist and newly crowned Offensive Player of the Year star running back Saquon Barkley.
And you definitely can't accomplish awards like this without the big boys up front.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
That tornado's crazy. Hey, Ken, do we have alarms in some of these places? You know, you get that in the middle of the country where they have those tornado kind of warnings. But
Yeah. I haven't heard specifically what sort of alert system these counties have, but usually, there is you hear the tornado sirens, and then, of course, the various emergency management agencies, they offer residents an opportunity to sign up for text alerts, that sort of thing. But usually each county has its own warning system, and it involves a siren. But these counties are very rural.
Oh, so even if you had a siren, it's not like there's a centralized location.
Exactly.
Where you hear it.
Now, if you're in some of the towns, you could possibly hear it. But in some of these really rural areas, I wouldn't think there is one.
No, and it's where do you go? Like, because the middle of the country is built with lots of basements. I mean, here there's some basements, but not everybody has a basement.
Yeah, and fortunately for this, a lot of people knew what was coming. But again, this mother and daughter who died, from what I understand, the report is that they were sheltering.
Oh, wow.
I don't know exactly where the shelter was, but they were sheltering, but it took them anyway.
It's I mean, we do the thing on our show called Nature Will Mess You Up, because nature does things, and just sometimes no matter what you do, no matter where you go, it's going to get to you.
Yep.
And that's the tragedy in this. And God bless them and their family in a horrible situation. But you do think about it because, yesterday you were talking about, well, we went up to like a 2 for extreme weather and could we get some? But you think about, I mean, we do, like we're in the second story. Like, what would happen? Like if we got, just in any of certain situations like this. Because you live in California, everybody knows you're going to get hit with an earthquake.
Yep.
It's going to happen. It's not like it hits your neighbor and doesn't hit you.
Right.
Where this is... Again, when a hurricane's coming, it's not like hurricanes show up out of nowhere.
Right.
It's so weird, too, with hurricanes, because it'll be like, hey, a hurricane's coming Thursday, and then people are out just doing regular things until the day of.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
And surfers are really trying to take advantage of it.
But when it comes to this, it is so random. And we're just not set up like, the places in the middle of the country who live in the alley that they call Tornado Alley.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I think, weather experts have determined that Tornado Alley isn't necessarily, Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas anymore. Tennessee is actually in this so-called new Tornado Alley.
Oh, wow. It's moving.
And a lot of, I grew up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I chased tornadoes.
What was that like?
It was a blast. I freaking loved it. Now,
Ken is what we like to refer to as weird.
He's an adrenaline junkie.
I mean, there were a couple of times where I did have to get out of my vehicle, and fortunately, that one time I was coming up over a hill, and I could see the tornado whenever, and it was middle of the night. I could see the tornado whenever it would lightning.
Oh.
So one thing about a tornado, when you're chasing, if you can see the tornado moving, then you know how you can maneuver to get behind it. This tornado, however, after 2 or 3 lightning flashes, it was getting bigger, which told me it's coming right for you. And I was able to, fortunately, there was this hole-in-the-wall bar open in the middle of nowhere north of Tulsa. And I just hung out in there, rode it out for about 30 minutes, and the bar wasn't damaged. And I didn't drink anything. I was on
chasing
duty.
Tornadoes. I don't want to drink too much.
I was on duty.
So when you're chasing tornadoes, like, because it's again, now it's become a tourist thing, right? Like where people go out and they actually pay to drive around.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get, like, how close did you get to them?
Well, I never got like right up on them. I was always at least, maybe a half mile or something. The closest I ever got to tornadoes, and I spent a lot of years chasing tornadoes, but I actually only saw like 2 where I was. And I didn't get anywhere, right next to them like you see in the movies. But I got within that one right there was probably about a mile away at the time. And I mean, I could feel the winds, and and again, it just kept getting bigger. It wasn't moving, and that told me I was in trouble.
Ooh, that's scary.
So, but I made it past that, and man, it was a blast. I freaking loved it.
What's your thought process as you're sitting there watching this thing get closer and closer with every flash?
Find somewhere to go, because if there is no structure around, what they tell you to do is get out of your car. You really do need to get out of your car.
Because you're just going to get tossed around inside of it like a maraca.
And they tell you to get in a ditch. Well, where I was, there wasn't necessarily any ditch. It was just, trees. And
see, you should have called me. I was probably passed out in one.
Yeah, the good Lord had me right next to just a hole-in-the-wall bar out in the middle of nowhere.
You're
there were
sheltering,
2 other people in there.
But if it would have hit the building, you were done for. It's not like you guys were in a basement.
Yeah, it was a pretty strong one. The strongest tornado I ever covered was it was an F5, and it's the one that hit Moore, Oklahoma in what year was that? I want to say 1996, 97. That thing, I was in Tulsa as it started on the ground west of Oklahoma City. My boss sent me to Oklahoma City to park and then get in behind it and just follow it, because it was on a path. That line of tornadoes was headed to Tulsa. So I would just ride those things. all the way into Tulsa and do live reports.
Wow. How crazy is that? It's like your boss going, just go up and sit on the ledge of the volcano and let us know if anything happens.
Well, here was the thing about that one. I'm listening to I get to Oklahoma City. I park north of Oklahoma City, and the sky is just, this was in the afternoon. The sky was jet black.
Oh.
This tornado was a mile wide.
Jeez.
And
did it sound like a freight train?
Well, I didn't hear it, but I'm listening to the local radio reports, and the big meteorologist down there in Oklahoma City was a gentleman by the name of Gary England. He was the local weather hero, and he is on the radio. I'm listening to him saying, folks, you got to get underground. You've got to get underground. This thing just sitting in your closet or your bathroom with a mattress over you, it is not going to help. And I think that thing ended up killing about 43 people.
My goodness. It's scary. Again, nature is, we talk about it, but you go and see what happened with, the Southeast Asia with the tsunami and the hurricanes that just roll through, fire that just devastated a month ago California. And nature is she is beautiful and at the same time a little crazy.
Yeah, that was 1999. It traveled 38 miles. It was on the ground for 85 minutes, killed 36 people in the Oklahoma City metro area.
My good. And see, and when I think people who don't live in like Oklahoma in certain areas, they think it's only ever in the middle of nowhere rural areas.
Right.
And that's not true.
That is not true. And the scary thing about Tennessee, and this is the furthest southeast I've ever lived. The scary thing about tornadoes here is they happen at night.
Yes.
And that's pretty terrifying, because at night, everybody's asleep, and you may not hear your phone going off or hear the sirens. In Oklahoma, weather would be born in the panhandle of Texas.
Yeah.
West Texas. That's where you would start seeing the storms line up. So then we knew in Oklahoma, okay, here we go. It's coming tonight. And that's whenever I would hop in my news vehicle, and I'd head as far west as Lawton, Oklahoma, and start riding this line of tornadoes and thunderstorms into Tulsa, and I'm doing reports the whole way. But that would be like in the middle of the day, in the afternoon. There were tornadoes at night in Oklahoma and Texas, but most of them were during the day.
And you could see it, too. There's also a sense of, you've got the cold weather coming down from the north. You've got the warmer, wet weather coming up. And there was a formula to it.
Yes.
Where, like you said, here, It's not the same kind of formula.
Not the same kind of formula. The good thing about here is the National Weather Service does a good job of they issue watches. And the watches are that's where you really need to start being aware, because let's say we're under a tornado watch right now until 3:00. We're right now 2:15 with a tornado watch set to expire at 3:00. This is when it's going to hit.
Yeah.
And so these watches are great to get ahead of it. But again, eventually, in the middle of the night, even if you have a watch, you got to sleep, especially if you have to work the next day.
Yeah.
And again, you can't see them.
It's just, I was listening, I was like thinking, like Tennessee is, you don't think about Tennessee being that place that gets hit with tornadoes or it's just, you don't think of it like that. You think of the flatlands in the middle of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And our topography is totally different all over the state.
Yeah.
We have like everything.
We do. Yeah.
Which is awesome. It's like we have all the seasons, but it does bring with it certain risks that, in the other place you don't get. We, like when I lived in, Arizona, we had mountains everywhere. Nothing's hitting us. We had a lot of dust devils.
Right.
But I was never worried about that. And we had the cold and the hot, but we'd have monsoons that would take it from 100 down to 70 in just a few minutes. But I never worried about anything crazy like that.
Yeah. Well, you guys had to worry about mudslides and things like that. We
did. Well, that's what's killing California right now. Yeah. I mean, it's the mudslides and, with the fires that do so much damage to everything around there. And so many people live in areas where it's very hilly.
Yep.
And the fires where it hit, those are the rich people live in a lot of those hills. That thing turns into it is quicksand.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. It's sad. Because I saw a house the other day. They survived the fire, and the house on top of them, the mudslide came down and crushed their home.
Yes. It's terrible.
That has got to be just soul-crushing to see that happen.
It was. Because they could tell with the rains coming that they were worried, and so they didn't stay at the house because they knew there was a possibility, especially after the fires weakening and everything. And the cameras were out there, and you could just see it. That house was partially destroyed, and it just came down, and their other house wasn't touched, and it just cut right through it. Because once it gave way, it was over.
Yep.
It was over. Oh, kids, what do you guys think of nature, huh?
Mother Nature, man. It's like Blue Oyster Cult said. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man.
Oh. Satanist.
Godzilla.
They also said Satan rules. If you guys didn't know, yesterday we were talking about Blue Oyster Cult, and they were kind of upset over the years where people thought they believed in the devil and were a Satanist, and they really weren't.
Yeah, the Blue Oyster Cult, as I was discussing with Belle at the time, that's a little restaurant where they started playing. But everybody took it as it being
we're in a cult.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It was like the Blue Oyster restaurant or something where they played.
And that's everything now. And now with the internet now, God only knows what. Well, here's the thing. With the internet now, you could see that the Blue Oyster Cult would have been done like that. Back then, though, that information spread like wildfire. Just like the information about, KISS or AC/DC, and everybody kind of believed that's what it really meant. Then you find out the story's pretty benign. It's like, oh, yeah, our sister said, you should do AC/DC, like, the plug there, and that's not a citing story.
No, you want something that's, dirty and something that's going to be like,
something that's rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah.
So crazy. We will talk other stuff, but I thought that was kind of a sad situation. But I think people getting an understanding of what happens locally here, because, while it's more rural, we still don't think of, you still think, oh, I'm kind of immune from it. But we're really not now, apparently, because it's now expanded Tornado Alley. If you miss any of the show, Belle, tell them what we say. Prize Picks. Go there now, download the app, use my code Chad, and when you play your first $5 lineup, guess what? You get $50 instantly. It's that simple. Deposited right in your account. So let's talk about Prize Picks. What is it? It's fantasy. You're playing players. You're not playing teams. Playoffs are here. The big game is here, and they're already giving you a win. So let's say you're going to play 2 players in your lineup. One of them is Patrick Mahomes because they think, hey, here's a free one for you. Guess what? Do you think he's going to pass for more than 1 yard? You do? Fantastic. There's your free win. Now pick somebody else. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. That's how you place your lineup. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. It is simple and easy. And remember, when you use my code Chad, when you download the app and you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 bonus immediately into your account. It is so much fun. It's easy to do. They've got tons of promotions every day. Set your lineup now and win big. Playoffs are here. The big game is here. Prize Picks. Go there. Download the app now. Use code Chad. Prize Picks. Run your game. USS, United Structural Systems. Obviously, we've had a lot of rain. We've got more in the forecast. Are you worried about things like mold treatment? You got some issues with your structure, basement waterproofing. I mean, you name it, right? Your foundation could have issues. Little things that you think aren't big underneath, they are big. USS is ready to help you. They're not going to sell you anything you don't need or want. They're not going to go out there and go, you need this, this, and this. Nope. They're going to come out and they're going to give you a free inspection. It's not going to cost you anything. Like I say, no unnecessary repairs. Simply there to help, and they guarantee the best. They are amazing. If you've got issues, if you've got worries, whether you think to yourself, the basement, right? Do we have some issues underneath? The foundation going wrong? Could we have mold? Could we have all this stuff like wood rot? Don't worry, USS there to help. Call them today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. Check them out online at USSTN.com.
More tornadoes confirmed in Tennessee, and we've got the latest on that plane missing over Alaska coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yet right now, there is widespread concern about the Doge team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the Doge team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of long-standing employees.
Okay. What is that? That right there, Mr. Bissett, guy who runs the Treasury. Why is that important? People are freaking out. Why are they freaking out? Because there's a guy that's working with Doge. And I say guy, he's a young kid. His nickname?
Big Balls.
That's right. Why is that? That's his name. It's his moniker. Right? Think of it as his, it's his, you know, that's his online handle, if you will. Exactly. Respect that authority, Cartman. You guys are cool. But he's 19, and people are freaking out about it. Why does he have access to this? And he can do any of these things. And you hear them, he's going to get this, and he's going to get that, and Elon's going to go for your Social Security number. Why does Elon want your Social Security? Well, he's going to sell it to the Russians, or he's going to give it to the Ukrainians, or he's going to do this. And the optics aren't good. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the 19-year-old might be the most brilliant person in the world, but let's for a second, you'd have trouble with Doogie Howser operating on you if you didn't know who Doogie Howser was. Am I right? Like, what's this kid doing in here? Like, he's going to diagnose you. You would have issues with that. There's the issue right there is you guys need to be out in front of it. And the feeling is by a lot of people out there, and I've talked to a lot of conservatives who feel like, hey, I don't want Elon to overstep. I want him to stay in a lane that's good and get some of the stuff. But I do worry about maybe some unfettered access because kids are stupid. So you've got to put it out there in a way where, people can say, well, optics isn't what matters. No, optics matters because people live in a world of emotion. Both the right and left can do that. Not everybody's Spock. And so because of that, people get a little freaked out. Even yesterday when I was talking about, hey, if we're going to be serious about cutting and getting ourselves whole, we have to look at Social Security, right? Medicare, the Defense Department, on how we can update these things, how we can add to it. What are the real fixes? Because they're the ones that eat up all the money. And a lot of you who all voted for Trump flipped out. You're pissed and angry because you didn't want to hear that. That was emotion. And those same people are saying, well, I don't know if I want a 19-year-old running around. The guy's probably brilliant because I don't think he's going, we should find an idiot to work with us. I don't think that. But the optics in a world do matter. The problem was for the Democrats who were trying to make a point, it became all about his nickname.
Big balls.
Which was stupid. He started an LLC when he was called Sexy Tesla or whatever, Tesla, when he was 16. I'm like, who cares? He only graduated high school. Who cares? Again, none of those things matter. Can he do whatever he needs to do? He knows hackers. Of course he does. He's a brilliant programmer probably and a coder. I should hope he knows hackers. He probably knows how to hack. The question, though, is what were they doing? Well, according to the guy who's running the Treasury Department, they're looking at stuff. They're making recommendations. What are those recommendations? We'll find out. Are they taking everybody's Social Security number? Yes, they are. They're writing it down by hand. They're looking at the back end of code going, how can we make this more efficient? They are using stuff that was used in the 80s to program and code. That's how far back they go with their stuff. Nothing is going to happen. Nobody's going to steal anything, but it's hard to convince when you live in a world of fear, like so many of these people do. That's why today you've got this craziness going on at the Department of Education.
Donald Trump's pick to run the Department of Education, Linda McMahon, has yet to be confirmed by the Senate. She has her first confirmation hearing next week. So what they're trying to do now is meet with the person who is temporarily in charge, exercise what they say is their congressionally allowed oversight over the Department of Education and over these threats of the president to shut it down.
And so all of a sudden, these Democrats show up, and they're angry, and they've been at every department that's possible. Why? Because Doge is there, and Doge is looking at stuff, and Doge is scaring people. We'll talk a little bit more about the Doge, but it's all based on emotion, and they're trying to get everybody else emotional about stuff. And that's something you can't do, because when you start to do emotional things, usually you make very bad choices when you get super emotional. So we're going to talk a bit more about that. Plus, Puppy Bowl. Pumped for the Puppy Bowl.
Oh,
kids.
Yeah.
Right on. We're talking.
I'm going for the wiener dog.
Wiener dog for the win. We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I saw Matt one around. His hair's even longer today. My goodness me. You know what they say about people with long hair?
Big balls.
That's what I heard. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. 3 tornadoes now confirmed to have touched down in Tennessee last night. Reporter Harry Sullivan is in hard-hit Morgan County, where 2 people died, 3 were injured.
Weather Service crews, of course, going to be out here in Morgan County, Bean Station, Scott County, taking a look at where possible tornadoes touch down. Sunbright in the same county saw this last year, a tornado touchdown right in the dead center of downtown. This, on the other hand, much more rural area, spread out. All the damage we've seen has dotted around parts of Deer Lodge. Deer Lodge and Nashville Highway, pretty much right on the, we're pretty close to the time zone line, crossing in to Central Time as you get into Middle Tennessee. But crews are still here. That we have heard they don't expect that death toll to rise. But you never know in a situation like this. Such a rural area, so many homes deep on a property. Crews are continuing to search.
Let's check in with Alex Stone now. 10 people missing after the airplane they were on heading to Nome, Alaska, disappearing from radar.
Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan says NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy will be heading to Alaska this weekend to help organize investigators and coordinate the NTSB response. The whereabouts of the Cessna Caravan are unknown. It disappeared in an area of western Alaska where the ground is mainly broken sea ice right now and rugged terrain. The U.S. Coast Guard is canvassing the area, as is a National Guard Black Hawk helicopter, and there is no sign anything has been found.
2 months of strong job growth gave way to a January slowdown, according to the monthly Labor Department numbers. President Trump's efforts to trim the federal workforce were not reflected in the January jobs report, which showed a hiring slowdown. 143,000 jobs added last month, far fewer than the expected 170,000, although unemployment fell to 4%. The 5 lowest monthly jobs numbers since the start of 2022 have all come since April. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
roughgreens.com/Chad. Use my code Chad when you go there, and they're going to give you a free Jumpstart trial bag of the best stuff that you can get for your dog or your cat. And right now they're doing something that's amazing. They want you to try their 90-day challenge. So you're going to get a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens, $20 value for free when you use my code Chad at roughgreens.com. Then you go for the 90-day challenge. Let me tell you about the 90-day challenge. First 30 days, what you can notice, shinier coat, right? A little more pep in the step with the pooch. Then they're starting to get those living enzymes and everything through them. By day 60, furrier, fluffier, no shedding, less pain and aches in their joints. And then, boom, by day 90, it's like a whole new dog. Better digestive system, better when it comes to their aches and pains, virtually gone, more energy levels. It is incredible. Try that now. It's a 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. I swear by it for my dogs and my cat, who's crazy, but not because of Rough Greens. You could try it now, a Jumpstart trial bag, and take the 90-day challenge. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use code Chad. You cover the cost of shipping. They get you out a bag for free. Roughgreens.com, code Chad. Tell you what, Super Bowl is this weekend. Pretty excited about it. I'm gonna watch it. I've got the Eagles, EA. How'd the lady spell it? EGL. She spelled it so wrong. She spelled it so bad I can't even misspell it. And I'm a horrible speller.
I think she said L, like ELGES.
Yeah. You ever spelled something so bad that Google's like, I have no idea what you're saying?
Yes, I do that all the time when I'm trying to write out texts or something.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'm like, okay, well, autocorrect will get it. And then there's those few moments where they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Like, I have no idea. That's not even a word. Why do you have a number in there?
And that ampersand doesn't do anything except confuse me.
Oh my! How funny is that though? Like and then you see the word and you're like, I wasn't even close.
I do that constantly.
Oh my Lord! But the game is going to be exciting. Like I said, I think the Eagles' defense is too strong, and their offense is built to get stronger as the game goes. And some of you go, well, the game's already decided because the refs have fixed it or because this, that, and the other. You feel that way because they've done great. And we all want the Chiefs to lose. There's a lot of that. But in reality, as I always like to tell everybody, it's not rigged because too many people would have to be in it. And no sports person is going to go, yeah, that's totally fine. You can rig my dream. Nobody is. So settle down. Let's talk about the real stuff Ken and I were talking about before break. Yeah, kids, if you're unaware, yes, the Super Bowl's going on. And some of you are not going to watch. You're boycotting it still. For me, not only am I watching that, my daughter's like, is it happening? I said, oh, it is.
Yeah, we have something called the Kickoff Show. And what we're doing is showcasing what it takes to become a Puppy Bowl pup. So what you'll see in the first half is the Puppy Combine, so a skills test of various candidates that are trying to get drafted. And we'll get to see all the things that they need to do to become a Puppy Bowl pup. Now, that's not extremely complicated. We just want to make sure you can run and be cute and adorable and not get too distracted. But by the end of that 1 hour, we'll actually draft our final 10 players for Puppy Bowl 21. And no one's ever seen that before. So it's exciting for all of us.
This is going to be so fun. And then after the Puppy Bowl, we could eat them. So that's like no, wait, I'm kidding. I'm settled down. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't know you, sir.
We're not in Ohio, Brother Chad.
Oh, that's right. What do you think? I'm Haitian?
Big balls.
Oh, settle down. Settle down. It was a joke, people. Who was mad at me yesterday? One of the people were mad because I fed my animals.
Sandra.
That was a joke,
Sandra. Don't be mad at it.
Yeah, I know. The fact that I even said that shows I have
big balls.
I know. It's just crazy. By the way, Trump just did something, and I retweeted it. Go to @ChadBensonShow, please, and add me, follow me, whatever it is you do, and check out my the Facebook page as well and all that other stuff. But plastic straws are back, baby. If you do nothing else, this is the thing that matters more than anything else.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You won't repeat it?
Mm-mm.
I never stopped using plastic straws.
Well, you...
Don't tell Newsom that.
You're a much better person than a lot of other people, but you also probably had the opportunity to get a plastic straw.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Where in a lot of places, they wouldn't give you a chance.
Yeah, they were banned.
Kroger, $100 for like $2.95 for 100 of them.
Yeah, see. So... where my son lives in San Diego, we stay at this hotel, and in it, they have this amazing burger place with these incredible shakes. And I mean, they're thick. Then they give you this straw. And it's one of those ones where even if you have a plastic straw, you're going to get that, you're on your way to a stroke kind of thing, before you get any. That straw dies in seconds. And when they hand it to you, they've got that look of they're sorry. They know it's coming. But it's just so awesome. And you guys know how the plastic straw ban started, right? Does everybody know? Do you know, Bill?
Well, it was in California, so I'm sure it was something nutty.
A 9-year-old kid said that it was plastic straws were getting stuck up Turtle's nose. And I'm thinking, no, first of all, cocaine. Secondly, turtle coke. Which was, I know. I think we should worry more about the fact that they're doing that much coke.
Is that why they call him Cocaine Mitch? Because he looks like a turtle.
Hi, everybody.
You better watch it, boy.
But, oh, man, I can't believe I fell over again. Aw.
Sure, he preferred freezing to falling.
I can't believe. Yeah. I'm waiting for him just to reset.
There was a crink in the carpet.
Oh, did somebody do something to me? But that's how that whole thing started, with this kid made up something with zero evidence, right? There was no evidence. Nobody ever looked it up.
Chad, sir. It's for the children.
Oh, my Lord.
It's for the children.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you would do that shows me you have
big balls.
And I'm telling you guys, I know, right? Hey, you're blessed too. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking at you. Stop looking at my
big balls.
I'm telling you guys this. That's the dumbest thing, though, that the kid was able to influence. Like, the turtles, they got 700 million straws are in the ocean, and they're all up at the turtle's nose.
I've seen 2 videos of turtles being rescued where they had something in their nostrils.
Yeah, Coke.
One was a straw, so it does happen. And another was a plastic fork that they literally almost had to rip out of its sinus cavity. Now, do you like something like that going down? No, it's horrid, but it doesn't happen near the amount of that they try to claim it does.
No. Somebody said there's no telling how many turtles my wife has killed.
Oh, she does a lot?
She buys lots of straws. If I had a straw company, it'd be called the Turtle Killer.
And the logo would be a turtle on the front with a big straw.
Just like snorting up. But it shows you, though, like the feelings, the world of feelings that, like, oh, yeah, like the straws and they're killing the turtles and stuff. And there was zero evidence, and they went with it. And Trump finally reversed something that has plagued us, which shows you, once again,
big balls.
Absolutely, kids. Absolutely. Oh, listen to the Hakeem Jeffries here talk about something for America.
America is too expensive. Why can't my Republican colleagues agree with that simple proposition and work with Democrats to get something done?
I think they do agree with the proposition, but the problem is that it was a lot of your policies that caused the problem.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. So they're talking about the budget because they're going to have to try to get something over the line when it comes to the budget.
We will also not support massive tax breaks for Republican billionaire donors and wealthy corporations while doing nothing to lower the high cost of living for everyday Americans and then sticking working class Americans with the bill.
If I was the president of the United States, for the highest tax bracket, I would raise it for the wealthy 50%. I know what you're thinking. Oh, my God. You could raise it. And anybody listening, you're going to be like, I can't believe it for taxes. No, here's what it does. First of all, it shuts the conversation down. Secondly, you do realize that you could raise taxes to 100% on the wealthy, and they'll never pay a dime if they don't want to. There are so many, not loopholes, rules and regulations that they use that it wouldn't matter.
It goes back to their claim that in the 50s, millionaires and billionaires were taxed 90%.
Yeah.
No, the law was on the books, but they didn't pay that because they had lawyers and tax people to get them out of it.
Yeah, and the way that it used to work back in the day is you weren't taxed 90% from $1. It wasn't until you crossed the threshold.
Progressed.
And then what happens is everybody's like, well, that people start worrying. No, so many of these millionaires and billionaires, they're billionaires on paper. They don't have $1 billion in cash.
Yeah.
So they're billionaires on paper. Tomorrow they could be worth another billion, or they could be worth less than $1 billion. It's because it's so much is tied up in stocks and this, that, and the other. And how they work it. And for those of you guys who want to know how they avoid stuff, you know what they do? They loan themselves the money. There's no tax on loans at a ridiculous, if almost 0% interest rate, knowing full well that they're never going to pay the money back because they've loaned themselves money from their corporations.
That they make these claims and they talk about Elon Musk being the richest man in the world like it's filthy, like he's a terrible person because of it. Elon also holds the record for the most the most wealth lost in a given day by any human being ever.
Shows he's an idiot.
Because it's not cash just sitting in a dump truck waiting to be dumped out onto his front porch.
Yeah, I mean, Bell's right. That guy right there has such
big balls
that he needs a dump truck to get him around.
I foresee one of us getting in trouble after the show's over.
I don't think so. Probably. I'm not the one pushing the button. Bell is, because Bell has.
Big balls.
Wow. That's the issue right there. That's it. I can't take him anywhere. Ken, I'm like, hey, Ken, stop telling everybody.
Big balls.
I don't think you need to do that. That's his nickname.
Big balls.
Ken Weaver. So, but when you think about this, like that was Steve Bannon told Trump, raise taxes on the wealthy because they're not paying it anyways. And they're paying taxes, but they're not paying it the way that you and I, if you get a paycheck and it's taken out. They don't do that. They don't get the paycheck like that. So there's ways for them to maneuver around. But what it does is it shuts the Democrats up. That's what it does. So you put it at a certain level because you don't want to hurt the small business, the medium-sized business. But we're talking about certain level that you put it at where you're like billionaires. Well, billionaires aren't paying that. They're not getting a paycheck. They're not. They're not getting that regular old job. Here's a paycheck for it. It's Friday. That doesn't happen that way. So go ahead. That shuts the conversation up. And then they look over and Hakeem Jeffrey goes, my goodness, you know what? They're right. They do.
Big balls.
I know. Coming up, Matt.
Big balls.
Murphy, straight ahead. He's got a big show for you, I'm sure. Not as big as ours.
Big balls.
Settle down, Aaron. I can't take you anywhere. We'll wrap it up straight ahead. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Big balls.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
Some people are upset because I've done this a few times today.
Big balls.
So I'm going to change it up right now and say
Big, B-A-L-L-S.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's here, Matt Murphy.
Hello.
What's up, man?
I
I thought I was on time. I was not.
You were not.
He's wearing his LGBTQ shirt again.
It's a good-looking shirt right there.
So first time I've ever worn this shirt, Bill.
Really?
No, I'm sure you've worn it one other time.
No, there's the first time I've ever worn it. It did not fit me. And I tried it today, and it fit me because I've lost a couple of LBs. So you're not going to sashay me away from this shirt, Pally Pal. By
you look
LBs
saying
or
that
LBT. Never mind.
It's a very fancy shirt.
It is.
I mean, you know what? I'm not about to take criticism from a guy that wears gray T-shirts every day of his life.
Don't forget the wristbands.
This is green,
too,
sir.
Like he's a drummer.
This is green.
I'm colorblinded. I don't appreciate you bringing it up. What's up, Chad?
Nothing, just having fun.
You got anything going on this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to go out to the home show. Dan and I are going to hang out with Busy Bee. It's going to be fun.
That's nice.
It's going to be relaxing.
Where's that going to be?
That's a great question. You know what? We're communication's what we do.
Buddy. That's my forte.
Communication's what we do. It's not actually who we are about. I will find out, but that's it. And then Sunday, there's a little game on the Puppy Bowl. We're going to watch some of that.
Are you? Do you watch the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm pumped.
I mean, it's an event. It's a thing. I disagree with you, though. I have enjoyed being able to preview it's been a delight the last several years that you can watch the commercials before the Super Bowl.
Why is that?
I just like it because then I know what to look for. I know what to anticipate. Like some of them are kind of duds. And it's just there's a lot because you're watching the game and I'm conditioned mentally. We all are that when the game goes off and the commercial comes on, that's the time to go get snacks or whatever. So I find that I miss some commercials because I'm away mentally. But now if I get to preview them, I know which ones to look for. I don't mind taking a little sneak peek.
All right. Well, I just
want to see them.
I want to be surprised.
Real time.
I want to be surprised because it's weird that we have trailers for commercials.
I like it.
Well,
little teaser trailers. It's the same thing with movies. I mean, that's what they do with movies.
Yeah, but movies are 2 hour longs. Their trailer is a minute. These are a minute at the most, and the trailer is going to be what? 30 seconds or a minute?
And sometimes it's opposite. Sometimes the ones that they put out in advance are like the 2-minute versions of the commercials.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then they don't want to pay for all of that, so they have to, edit it down.
It's usually like one of those touchy-feely like ones where
that's right, where Grandpa gets the truck out and he's going to give it to the grandson.
Yeah, one of those things.
Or the horses come out. No, the dog and the horse got together.
Oh goodness me!
So cute.
Yeah, this year looks like a fun. Looks like a lot more fun this year. There's not.
That's good.
The touching thing is gone. I think this year you'll get a few of those, but it's a lot of humor.
I'll tell you, the commercial recently that and I will freely admit this, made me cry, made me break down and weep, was the Apple AirPods commercial. Have you seen it?
No, which one's that?
It's like a 2-minute commercial. The guy has hearing difficulty.
Oh,
and they now have they now have the hearing aids, and so it goes through his life with his daughter as it is with hearing difficulty, and then it flashes back to what it would be if he had the earbuds in with the hearing aid technology. And it's just, I mean, they almost say no words in the commercial, and by the end of the 2 minutes, you'll cry.
That is awesome.
It's pretty good.
That is awesome.
What's your favorite ever Super Bowl commercial?
You know what?
Just the one that comes to mind.
Obviously, the one was it eating the hamburger? What was her name? On the horse, and she was eating the Carl's Jr. Remember that? You know they brought
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, they brought that back this year.
Oh well,
a new one. But also you got to think the Michael Jackson one was big.
Yeah, Cindy Crawford.
Cindy
back in
Crawford.
The day.
Yep. And
the one that always comes to my mind for some reason, I just think it's every time I see it is the Volkswagen kid with the Darth Vader Volkswagen kid.
I don't remember that one.
It's a kid running around his house, and he's got the Darth Vader stuff on, and it was around the time that the new Star Wars came out, and he was trying to make stuff move and stuff go.
Okay, yes, I
and then the guy
that.
has the keyless,
key,
and,
yes,
and it does it, and the kid, it just his reaction, he kind of jumps back like, holy crap, it worked.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so there's some good ones, and obviously you've got some of the, the humorous ones are great. This year, I know Bud Light is trying to rebrand itself, and
Bud Light.
But you know what?
Have they been negatively impacted?
They have, and the thing that would have made me laugh is I'm like, if you guys really had any
big balls,
you would have put
Dylan Mulvaney in
it and have Peyton Manning throw a ball at her like 100 miles an hour.
Make her get in the porta potty.
And you would have caught it and said, "What do you think of those apples? What do you think of those Adam apples?"
They would never.
They don't have that kind of. And I would have said, "You know what?
Yeah, good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you."
You stared at something. You made a mistake. You realized that.
That's
you move
right.
on with your life.
If you can get past that and make fun of it, but the problem was Bud Light. I think Anheuser-Busch might be willing to do that. In a way that would obviously make fun of themselves for making that misstep.
Yeah.
The transgender people would absolutely freak out. They've got no sense of humor.
Well, you know what? You pay somebody enough money, you find out.
That's true. It makes a good point.
In theory, you're really just acting, because that's a lot of what that he was before. It was just a big actor, and so why not just act this out?
Yeah, I like it.
So that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. Watch a little bit of football, relax. I know a lot of people are like, I'm never watching football again. I'm like, well, that's fine. I mean,
I left it a little bit because football's always been a respite for me, whether it's NFL or college, right? I mean, it's a mind wash. I get to wash my brain, and I don't have to think about the things that we do for a living Monday through Friday. And so when all of that started infecting the sport, I was like, you know what, I can step away. And I did, but I came back. I mean, because I think they've stepped away from all of that now.
Yeah, they end racism.
They solved racism.
Yeah, well, they've moved it off. They was going to be on the field, and they're like, yeah, we should probably move that now.
Yeah, we're done. No, they fixed it.
Yeah.
I think they fixed the racism thing, so that's
finally
good.
Trump
that's
fixed
nice.
it. Did you see that Trump got rid of paper straws?
Which is good.
No more dead turtles
and
washing up.
And he's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, more dead turtles washing up. So be prepared for this weekend, guys. If you see dead turtles everywhere, know that it's Trump's fault.
Awful.
With one swipe of a pen.
I have to clip the little six-pack plastic in my household.
So the birds don't die.
Because I'm told that the birds and the turtles.
I've seen that. Like with seagulls and stuff having stuck in there, and I think to myself, I've done a good thing.
Well, you're a good man.
No, so yeah, I've seen that, though.
There's one good man in this room, and it's not me.
I tear it up if I had a six-pack, but I don't do that.
Well, like a six-pack?
No, I don't have one
or
of those. I have like a 28-pack or whatever. I got a keg. I don't even drink. You guys have a blessed rest of your weekend. Go Eagles. Go ELGEZS. Eagles. Matt Murphy, straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7.